Industrialization Africa. Ono so abi osikasem na eto ye kase angeje to a light alai woje to papa ono so ewo menchen ewa ha ana fei Benjamin Ensia wono so sikasem no waben ena no achi so no ye ba nyina mahode hunsemu a wono so aben ti se sika na ayera wa edi sector ho no ena bibia hye ne bi obetumi a kire yen am yatumi ahu enti wono so yeda na se na fei menifa so aye menua ye nyina fi kuro ba ko so no ifi saboba enso ya me onfame nkonti maka ha ono nkwa na ayoko menua kuti ye ka bambo mu nsam a wa pin papa yimano kuti asam na me kai abedwafo da mu nyina asema mu nyina akwa aba owura pitatakpe na no Thursday a wo ba fie ntini ma Thursday a school ya mu akwa aba ye that's papa ene wo mre ye that's what the mama says am firu so sanse enani day dika wo ba na yenhwe aban ba aban mu no be bo so me nsonnie uyo bia we a business person we skase mu so ehunimde sa wotena chi ebu nkompo hwe wachi a yese anchene nkamfo ne ho nti finance minister de obeka ne de awie say no ye wa wuti achire no sa wo de toto ho ehwe from the business perspective ene sekasem no foundation na wo mule no a we did this first 7 months no unu ni say
yo pacho mi da say na me chia etifo nyina so wo ye obi a wo oman mu a na wo ye business ana wo ye ejuma ana say na tibia no ye what we call real economy baby a niama cost ankasa te say the market where business actually take place in the economy so person hu say na niama kwa gina niama ekoso wo the real economy and afi wo a wo ye nipa no so a wo ye ejuma say wankasa wo ejuma na say wo ye ejuma wo bi tia oka say na niama eko e wo economy na eboa wo no e na wo de hwe afi so wo economy na ankasa so no ye wo what we call indicators a e di kire say ampa oman no economy ana economy uhwe from December 2024 ebesi ene ye wo indicators bi a e kire say oman no economy na say economy ba ko e inflation a e kire how prices of goods and services are na e fact a ye nya beji atum say na e wo 23.8% sisi a e wo 13.7%. This is the prices of goods and services
na every so
which is huge. So we should be 2022 at 54. Na yaba sisi a yaba abedru 13.7 na. Afi so uhu say ukọ market so a eye nukre say niama bo akofo. Enye ni nyina but dodo na so akofo. Sisi omo dealing in niama omo import every abano neighbor. Ye be di advances so say the currency which is the CD appreciation so na ye hu no from 15 abedru 16 abedu 10 cc you find say you cutting off at 11 at the bank level inti uhwa obi biara okra ne mafi amanoni ana oton wa hana usu a ukwakoto no ube di adanse say when you go to buy it they will tell you say prices have reduced inti so obi a auto phones electronic gadgets computer laptops and we nyina obeka cho say sisi anu price no akofo because of the appreciation of the CD afi so ye hwe bibi dey say interest rate say ukwakoji loan o dia support we juma ye wo bibi a refer no Ghana reference rate eno na ye ade a ukoji loan wo bank no use e na omodi omo margin ka ho eno so sisi ano above form abedru 23 now 23.69 eno so e form nature say ukoji loan wo bank interest na beba so no betia and also is reducing because treasury bill rate is also falling. We share this alone. You ask yourself whether it is impacting the real economy. In the real economy, in America, it is a we call market no koton adie or koton yama. Na ampa prices no wo for more and na reduce here. Then indeed is affecting the real economy. After here what we call disposable income. Say why ye juma ye tia oka na u purchase power aye sika na wo na obekwa kodi akoto ade no say prices eco for man nature say utumi to insuo bottle ba ko miensa sika na auditor miensa what is the same sika betima to 4 and now enu nature say wo disposable income na wo no e ma wo to me use editor nyama bebre I will say auditor more than previously bibi to say rice yeto obia beti advance say ampa prices of these commodities have gone down inti o kase for the first 6 months of the year no obia oti Ghana bia na obeka no kura no beka say ampa the economy is heading in the right direction. It's a fact. It's 6 months. We are hoping say this will be sustained. That is the most important thing, especially the currency. What is needed they are here as businessmen and women, as enterprises, is not even the drop or undulating nature of the currency, a stability. Because it was all to me planning. Utumika say, I can budget, I can plan for the next 6 months ahead. If you don't have a stable exchange rate, you cannot plan properly. That is why in 2022, for instance, someone said, Fitianopa, copy me the CD will be at 11. By the time I could 13. The following the overcome market, say the price of the same commodity you bought yesterday, today you go and they will tell you that it has changed because the pricing regime, you know, there was exchange rate component in it. After who you be a auto fuel, who use petrol, diesel. In December 2024, if it has 15, get it 16. Now say and it's at 13, 12. Definitely what's a Fiscal because the price per liter has gone down. It is how you be a use car. Ubeka say who kita 500 Ghana is the cut off fuel. Baby a gauge in a one previously. Any baby was a cost. These are factor. You cannot dispute it. Because of that, the economy is on a positive trajectory, even though we have not fully recovered yet, but we are on the right path.
But maybe some people say, about the same, maybe say, say, Jayano, Bribia Besson, Jayano, the economy, Nijina, COVID, by pay, Brian, Yabui. What did he say? And then a Sabane to sustain this. Nekoba say, Bia, external shock be bar. We should do any make external shock be called baby wa enko higher journey.
And only one of the critical things are most government. Normally when things are going well, now omure fi say e was say omu building what we call buffers. Because there is no way say you will be running an economy not be smooth. It can never happen. Sana we are setting. Because there are external, because once you are in the world, there are certain things that will happen in other countries a bit affected, other continents a bit affected, because you cannot depend on your own self to survive on everything that you need. And so what happens is when things are looking good, you build buffers. I could say Nipa. So when you are making money, you have to be careful how you spend. You must make sure that you save. It was all catch you say. You see, Bible crap can say you must put your investment in several places because you don't know when trouble will come. As an economy, you have to linger on this. Say, there will be a time trouble will come one day. Just like COVID came, we didn't know. Russia, Ukraine came, and then it affected us. Then recently, we saw Israel and Hamas, and we started jittering. You saw fuel prices going up because of the impact. Nature said, you don't know what next will happen. When I heard the finance minister and talked about building what we call a sinking fund, Nature said they know, say, what the gains we are making today, no, ochina bi beba entisa. So how Kwabena be faswa say na okano ebe make sure say shock bi ba you bet to me because we have what we call reserves. Reserves ni sika ewo ho a eche say ene BBC na say Ghana is not working, nothing is happening. How long can Ghana survive? And we have we have about 11 billion, which is almost 5 months of import cover. It's still increasing. Money is coming. How do we make sure, say, these gains we are making now and the things that we are not doing, how do we make sure, say, in the coming years when things happen, unfortunately, we can survive? That is why one of the measures they are putting in place is the sinking fund, where almost say, I'm ready to almost discount betu ho. And then be a bibi saba say you best service your debt. You bet to many sika eka say the service because what is happening now is say loan ye tua amanoni. One of the things that affect your currency is say your koji loan amanoni a omo invest in your economy no are external players. Those people se mreba se oji ni sika asako amano krofufo eko invest wo baby fofora oji ni sika free amani mu. That is where you see the CD depreciating very fast because no ohun say American economy is looking good. Into oba beji ni sika dia ko into rate bia onye bia no ope or the ko. That is why we can see sharp fall. So when we have enough reserves, it will help us. When these people are moving out, there will be enough currency to give to them so that it will not affect the reserve that we have. This is the reason why, whilst things are good now, I will say you're building enough buffers. And or China BB critical sense CBOMA. You encourage you to say COVID by Emma Ghana economy no, it went on its knees. I'm hoping say the current government will be very conscious and careful and ensure that the fiscal space is managed prudently. Senebeya and check or bar yenko on our knees. Okay.
Me that's but my main call or can say so now me so can say I can say can say no. Obi baka say ye no ye import driven economy. Niama nyina say krefia man no ne de aba. Enti le bidu mo ka say de for it to be sustainable no. The say ni sanka esi etumi toto niama say de be ya ye be bia industries no. Na etu manufacture niama no wa ha. Enti ne niama na ka dis kana kokoto de aba na bi wa ha da enti emfa sika no kra nkonkonkoto na sika na da so aka Ghana ha. Etu ato ne sa niama na. Wo je di say obi a wo nimdie e wo to ho ne nasefo no. E dey poti na sese ye to sustain these gains omani ye wumi anase ye nyen.
Agya Kwabena mefa mesumene enka odie na ye hwe se yeyura se tepe asem ya okan ye mani due efa ne area waka baby na yenko enim so ne yenkai ye papa Professor Mills ono so oboa ye niama mienu bi efa discussion yi kra ye no niama mienu bi a oye ye asumdwe peace security and I mean you have been so bekasa me sure say obekai de papa eye maya ene ye kai ne say asumdwe ne economy na we bisa me asem no so na nyuma ye a oye wo IRS e de VAT buy wo hwe impuntu a VAT de abreye wo Ghana ha na wo ko wenim ni so no wo hwe ade ba ko a during the time yenya ye record single digit inflation obekai say ni ama pay ya enti say o chine bi u bisa say enya ade bi a ye ntumi enye o ye betumi aye enti so obi ka say ni a ye say o man Ghana yetimi aye aboa ye ho a ye be single digit inflation we working towards the better inflation systems and then better pricing systems you know akwa say magic enya magic ni ama na me na ode bia di unkita ho say yi levy fee o ye san so kan say bomodiana te tax so man crofo bomodiana tre tax ni na etinim na ben o na ko diska no sa ni ama na ye kan ye no wo pa kofa homa bi na hwe kita odi a ye di wo platform yi so ni ama ye frefre de bia wo frefre aba questions a wo ma ye ne ya no enu bi mu na aban crash yi be kan ye say omo eye on enti ka utie a ni yeso ya adwene kire na anka obo se ni ama ni bi mu wo ho a ke ye kan ye wo ye ya ke be boa ye bibia nsesa ye enti na meba ebe gina de wa besides see say see anako say we are dependent ye hwe say obi na omre ye bread sa bread tomatoes yes also bread jene ni toast e krapo no ye kra e de ba enra na sa na ti enti se obisa wo sansem we a na obisa wo se wo de ewiane ene atare a wo hye nyina no nyina be fi amano ne aba emu de na wo be potoka se industrial revolution wo economic nationalism se wo krom de na wo ye no emo abe na wo de be ma ono na ni de na wo ye no ebetumi ni amano ne de no etumi abo nhima na wako atia no ebi ni se minister ene odi nkomo me na me chrocho obi o ka se production line no a ekrom ha ejuma na ka omo ye na ka eman emie na entre na eman kofo ejuma na sa company na so ntimi niama ebe free mobile product no na ka eno so emba na yenye bi wa na nkoto bi wa abanone no na kobra ne etwi bi fema ono so ontu atase kra na oman bi so na nyese ubetu atase ne keke wo omuma tax no kosoro na jese de fi amanone ni boy ayeden na ne ye wo fie die no enya so tumi ayeda ayefo atia kwatia no won enti sa ade na ye ka sese e fa sa edwadie no ho no obi de otwi fam a ontu akra jo no de ba no de ne bo no abe fofofo no de say de ewo oman mu
factory say ye anwa be die say anwa no because anwa kra ayi ban e so enye no in the 90s kura na because say ebi efi Cote d'Ivoire ba em say dino ene ne kaka no ye se ma mo fa magana kwenti ache
yes
it is a fact na good na se krofo de nam suma se ampa it na ho no mo sa no e de na wogidi se ye
o ya ye border ya ye sete aban na twem sete boundaries commission otumu say adwuma bia na ompese omso de ta se niama fifa border yi mu you force so be kasa na say ya o ka kire ye say sa border ye di niama fem any port in Kontabu na etwe sign no ama ye hwahwiri 500 million Ghana cedis nje no kire o say they say ye fan fem no na a gold dwadie mu kra so elisanso ye den ye fe bi ye fe no re-entry owia de call amano ne Togo no asan de area ye bodem and I cross protocol ne ate so amano enti sa kana na ye de kra pa ye wa no ye wi bipie de de be inside no so no na ye wi ye ho de aba no ebe ma ye dwadie no atosini tax no ebe hwiri ye eko ba o tax be hwiri ye yam se 2018 kwa no UAE na gold a efi ha akọ UAE no na ye humam na 2 billion na humam na 7 billion e kire say what should tax 5 on 5 billion worth of gold
me bo asama wo ke on and owura atofo kan vice president former the late vice president say ya ade a wo fo say get the 10 million and e ko ye o se hwe e den 10 million 40 50
can you imagine the embarrassment any
so kwa
na onim se na ya ba ofie ha be ka saa ye ka ye no se obi betima atena enchen aka se na ye pese se aban di ene aban bi ba mu no a o so the gold board na ba no ono kire wo se gold ya de abre no atoso mienu enti chese na kana ye be ka wa ha no ho na ye tan no 140 na ye kutia no wasem ba ku bia na mehwe se ka obeka akire no asem bia de bia oka about our royalties wo de also gina 10% ofa na se Ghana ne nyia papa nko ade ya na mo master ase agodi cha ase na obi betu na ono no betu se hwe forgive me se ode okofa machine wo aso ohima mu krapo de aba na be cost ni whatever 10% they come and cut down da adan meme de no 100% no obeyi mu a se si ahwede ono nya ye fa na so we nya 90% akoda fie 10% ni mu a ye be ko no so epese oje 7% not the 3% mami 3% to crap a ye pe no kobra ne se ye begu obroni na o aba ye krom ejuma tie mi o me se 90% enkro na wafa no wafa no de ko na 10 na aka no 10 na aka na ye be oje mu 7 no ama ye mu 3 debi o se o pese o mami 1 o mami wine say I can on wine o mami wine nje si a me ka chere say o mami 3 nyensa enfi edunu mu no eno ntokwa na ye kuno timamfo ni bi mu ayeso mo munyansa tafa che ewe nim chen yen ye ne nim hwe nto mo kire se de obetu gold no wenya enkro na ewie no baako no ye che baako no mu nso no onsan nya nkono efi eno nso mu kese he gets this 90%
bia ko
etika onim bibia ka onfa ni nyina mom ka onfa ni nyina ne nkan nyina nchan ne hwe e say oya medical assembly kire say even the operational cost oyi 90% nko a the operational cost on timi engina menim ehwe menim nka kire me say the operational cost e brought 3%. Enti operational cost nko afa o say o de Ghana fo e na o de boa ye adwuma ne ne ama no crap Ghana nyina no yemfa 1%. Na kroben so pa na one enyansafo tafa che betena ase na otimi a kire ade we amanyansa ni ate ase say wafa 90% ndi kofie no 10% na aka no o san me be cha lion share jata de no so no ofa on san fa nkono biom tese ono de bi ogina nkono na me de mi gina o hwehwe no enti ye pre ebisa se ka ye be hu ye mobo a ka mo fa 5% crap o mai o de bi a ka se 10% na ka mo mai 5% a eno crap ye ntime nyina ho ene ye de ko 3% sa 3% no so no eno crap so ye be hwiri ye hwe me ma dwen America ni na say gold no ta fra che kan yira wa asase na se nti say ye generation we no ye timi nya wo hwa ye ngada ema ne me eda me ba otimi nya sa tumi akokoduro no tesi yewura mahama timi ka kire America for ne say sesi edwadie no we want fair trade na nye mwa ne keke ene hia ye yewura na do so kan say we want a Ghana beyond trade it is beyond aid. We have a heartbeat say sisi ene nimpefe say ye sisi yen Burkina Faso for eje ye say petupuru so mbo ye o ma de no so won say o mo koso nti sisi aye nya ne basa biom production we have to accelerate it nti we share sa budget o mo ye that big push ni am o mo ye enye say be ko fi yakọ ye bo se ne akoda o ese edi eni di ekire say sa sika ye o mo yi nyina no ebe ko factories awohoro no na ochine bi say even their social project bi say free menstrual pad say and one of the people can say any tax in free menstrual pads no na me die nim and so na makamba ko say they should be locally manufactured menstrual pads so that you get your taxes from inside, you get to create job for people. When you ejuma so amati man for na uko wenim crap no sa production na wo ye wa ha no a wo de eboa Ghana companies no e ma oni ama mienu personal income tax any company income tax no and o abeka say companies aketwa no crap no o san so ahye say ombema omomwa bi omeyi threshold so omo eto no tia no omeyi aba from kakra bom entina na me stress so say abanko nenim na omo ye djuma o sa company ya fe workers no omo so omo personal income tax kakra omo di kofie no ye nhwe se threshold ye be maso kakra eno so kire sen se we djuma ni ya se o tua tax na o he Ghana asisi ada ye tax threshold ban ye be ye akoto no wo 500 Ghana ase na eja koma kan crew se 500 obi ji akecha 500 Ghana cedis wo Ghana ye aye wo ya na oyo oba kuna for widow na o ma miensa ni ma na mienu krapo a o moto menstrual pad modua no krama e no sa 500 Ghana e beto ahia ma ans na wasa aba de o mbedie ka o mefa bebi o moda enti kan ye be kan no kure pa de aka otimi maso kakra ma yen no de ko be 650 and 700 cedis na ye mu bi mu edwin say ahochire na aba we will buy the bullet ina ye be boa bibi ni aboye ho ka enso bi mu wo mu a
mo wo fam do
kam de ye timi twa ni ehu ommo ba
anka beboa
ken yi o mu firi
me da se me ba ben so bad ma men koya so mpa so ansa na me say yaw enkoma ye die nyina no wo hu e ka me say o man ye wonim di for pa hwe ye ka human resources a betu aka the whole of Africa ye ka o ma bie no abekoso a unkonya Ghana ni a oye djuma kase bi edrubiri bi ukọ Japan yes testing officer no wo mka so mu ye nyina Toyota cars ni nyana Ghana ni na ye testing officer penny pa ukọ hospitals akese o ma no ne Ghana for Dr. Kwabena Frimpong Boati hwe surgery so wa ye papa ya mu se waka ba bimpo ono ye bibi fiber ye di internet yi ama America forces so mu yusu Indian for yusu obi ayusu and before pa ya mama mi say aye leadership failure ana magana ye duru ba bi eduru ya aka me se de bia wia na ye wia se de se akwa ni ntu nkoya ni musa o kan so ana aka me se de se se ye ne de bo ma mu ni nyina no obi wa dwen bi se wo tan no ho no me ti ase aye eden ya
Debi awunim sa akonya we de ye papa sampia le akonya nti nyame fa ne kra nkoso nsie enne so Metropolitan Health Insurance for board chairman afim ye yomo lawyers nti ye becha omo ne amomo yakọ eja obisa se empanyindie na ma oman ne bo na se bi nimdie ne da we wankasa we ya no se ye hwema yentimi nkasa oman no animdifonim almost adwen be prior profanity sebio otifie bia mu na se panyi wo hwema nkrado se kan dwa nanka ne ehwehwe nanka refo a
wo ka ho bi
o na odi kan because I also kan me no ya adwen se ye mpaninie leadership no is the baseline for many of our problems. But I will be quick to add, say, for me, leadership na political leadership nipe. Because in Pembebre, I dream leadership no why you say a political leadership nipe. But in many parts, your problem no any political leadership nipe. Of course, omonewo o mining na to me mubetimi ye no ma esigina ye. But I think leadership across many things. Sebi, ebia political leadership be energy sector leaders. But okay, in some across energy sector, leadership at that level. Okay, schools, different schools, okay, hospital be the issues there, obeko ejumabim. So I think that generally I completely agree with you. Say ebia yenyina leadership training. So mine. But make namako finances no. I think that we must all recognize that at least for the last 6-7 months, it appears that the financial conditions of Ghana and as the economy no is getting a clear sense that we're getting leaders that appears we can all trust. At least so far, by the evidence we're seeing in 6-7 months, the growing trust is coming, and feature our rating of B- is a show of confidence. Risk of doing business in Ghana and other countries. Report near say, oh yeah, Jumawaha or risk me. Ohe reporter March, no reporter June. Clearly, the risk of doing business in Ghana abaform, which means that Nyama akosro. Or they compare 7 other countries. I share where report clearly things are getting better in Ghana. So we must commend the leadership of this country. Yeah, but we would say it. Senyama obi ye bibi which needs commendation. I think that we should all acknowledge that sebi or ye bibia obona baso ye, and then you caution him on the other things which they need to do. I am the finance minister Nankasa Jitum no kama nisi nipi se nyama no enye intimobia management nyane say we are out of the woods yet. Eja Makawa has said the true test of this economy sa DDP restructuring by the other principles neko share no aya overload the debt no into 2026 ni 2027 hono ena nkomo na nkasa wo kwan e be fa so e betua the principles due now here the nature of the debt restructure da fa kwa e be fa ko fa sika abetua sa aka pudo na esi anim no for purposes of the principles of the restructure. Me as a professional in risk management, they be a major Ghana economy one, and I think the finance minister has said it. Say those are very difficult things, but Sebi you must start building funds. Endru hono na yenya Sebi ya ho akwan ya debate asaka no. Nti yes, Niama are beginning to take shape. But the risks in this economy is by no means over. Yes, we've made significant progress, but ensemno ensaye. Ensemno bebre da so ho. Of course, inflation above from bedru 13.7. It's a really good news. But question I want to say, reduction in increasing prices no. Sebi, what happened? You need price control regime. But also has the price been passed on? And I think that the last words of the minister is to beg Ejadifo say abaya enough for mudie. Kwan bena Ejadifo so be your mudie. Ye intimi regulating market directly say enka say ton ubi bia say, but there can be price transparency regimes. Competition law ne consumer protection law. Amount for starting DHA bed ya ohonie. Maybe this is the time to say a beye consumer protection. A share obi say kwanya offer so a wo share obuono fatudwa nti say e bia me cost price ye cost school basic accounting e beka just say profit ye cost selling price minus cost price nti kwan ya me fa so a me to ma de no me tifi kwan ya me fa so a me to mu ana e me fa so ana ejanye sa nti say ye say cost price ana say niema ye de ye niema no ba for ma na baby ye ton no na e wo de a na che say mfa so no na ebu nkam so nti we can all determine per market or industry player say bia safe margins for different industry maybe 10%, 15%, 20%. Nti yenyina no yen shekete so bia ento ade say but there is transparency. Okofa bia your friend is saying but is a minister of roads cement for air pressure now actually. Cement no what are the components of the price? Senior ye fuel ne energy ye nyina enim the variables no nti na ochi bia no bibi move a ye nyina enim say fuel be kosoro no. I think that we need to have transparency in pricing. Senior whether or not your currency are appreciated by 41%. Eja 40 almost 42% for the last 6 months. Ebani saying that currency are appreciated by almost 42%. None so prices in some parts prices need be above but generally some prices are stable. In South 42% no for an import dependent economy. Ebani saying that niema so tete at least by even how by 20% of the price appreciation because bibia ecophobia bebebia the implicit understanding they say so currency are appreciated by 41% there. Not just say a cost price would naturally reduce by about 41%. It's bibia you don't need any other variable. Yeah. But again before I can say so I think that what we need and what probably the government needs to think about carefully is a consumer protection law that promotes transparency in pricing. To me, ensure be because we're in a free market. Into to me show be set on in so way 1 cedi. But ube to me I say disclose 1 cedi no then in the woman a money 1 cedi. So if we can have a transparency regime around pricing inka nyemeba for me nyafe ni ebe patch or say minister of finance na tie patch or say
enra ne pe bibia to ye ko baby 26 cedis ye ko baby 25 cedis ye ko baby 35 cedis the same thing
in Accra
here na say bia we chire ni nyina the same environment
exactly
we ko baby o say 25 cedis ye ko baby o say 26 cedis ye ko baby o say 35 cedis the same
the second thing minister ambet me and say ABI statistical service price data say they are okay say your baby asade no there's a market for it because me who's a weight on it there 35 weight on it there 50 weight on it there 25 you implicitly direct the market there into the auto on 35 no the forces of the market will now push him into beyond the transparency no I was say ye nyina ye hu say meko na mekoto spare part we need statistical service must take leadership in this. Wait on it they say inti prices no some shisha menya no but ejanya na wani ade na akọ we ho na akọ we ho a one we akọ we ho na akọ we out 35 akọ we ho or say 25 no better no 25 no but e dey na 15 bi on che inti the two things I may recommend emra asabi a de transparency ebeba your pricing regime but they toss mienu the agencies of state so said they will publish rates and so that the nyina ye behunu say Ministry of Agriculture on publish say these are the big market players wait on it they say that transparency will aid the market but there are a few things there are a few comments I need to make on this. The same price stickiness the budget review no said say interest rate is around 27 which is moved from about 30 you know reference rate cost from about 24 but interest rate nankasa any number 27 but 27 no kra no unya obenya 27 and that is say bia wadwuma ye Sronko ana okuta osika na ose monji misika nto na moma me bosia ni bi. I think say ye nyina ye ngintum say bio ye ntimi mbobosia ho esi ho no eya bupan miensa emma untimi nye adwuma bia enye successful. If you go to countries like Rwanda and South Africa, people are borrowing at rate oje ho a as a abroche into na member abroche no, right? The rates are low into ultimate age. I think say one of the things the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana and they say yes, treasury rate about around 14 to 15%. But the real interest rate on lending, the cartelling in banking, price stabilization around that. First, no, you better say, oh, CD no, ever depreciated about 18%. Into bank, no, he's better off buying dollar rather than lending because the price implicitly about 18%. So say CD no, I appreciate about 41%. So over home model, that's what to me, finance ministry to me stabilizing the CD around this. There will be no point. Rate ain't mean back from drew about interest rate. I mean, drew about 14-15%. I think that is important. I say that. Say Ajuma no, Ajuma kesia pa ba ko. I was a Ministry of Finance, the Finance, Bank of Ghana man and Nikoso. Interest rate regime. Kwaya bosia bo mudro any insiwe so no ebeba form. On VAT reforms, no, so I think it's Minister Naka. Yeah, share any more October because COVID no, you know, it's a COVID ni habiem. In the COVID levy no, yeah, here any more say beko. Yeah, here any more say VAT reforms no, would happen. And ni na mo no, yan commende omo for NIB. Sebi, obi weto se bank bi enye adwuma no, omugu no. Hunsun and so doso. So if NIB is being revamped, we need to commend. Empire never say NIB ajuma efo no ehunu no say eya aban ajuma. Na de omo ye no nanu bi ebedru say no 5 years 3 years down the line yensa medisa ankomo we bia because taxpayers money any adiama NIB yes they declared because of course unya new capital injection. Why you be the top treasury bills now and farm bossing across obenya profit. Into those ones, from where I sit, and a big problem. The bigger problem is omo size to for no mo da come why no mo de come na bossing. Na bossing no ebeba and I say the bema party for not 2-3 years time. Eja yebeza betena be say NIB na e de o man sika shame no. NIB no asa ajija nti NIB penyin for your best remo sika.
Sure.
So manage it well.
Okay.
And the same goes for cocoa board.
Okay.
Gold board. You hope say embe cocoa board. Anyi ne say ye nyina ye nim cocoa board ni munsem. Nti ya started the efe see gold adobo. But ye nyina ye nim nsem ewo cocoa board mo. Nti you should make sure say sebi gold board no because minister say the same structure. Okay, the same structure na me say go me tie asema ba.
If management ho na
enti eno na make minister say we say me cocoa board.
Me da say ben me pese e fa ye nkoma ye die finance once am nieka.
Yeah, me some 10 seconds we will be okay efa ministries no any agencies ni we can meet me aye afa pricing because and show be am cause na spare parts dealers ni do no mo ka say na spare parts no na drivers ni ka say spare parts no monte so abam crap say o masa amma price ni so increase and in your case say I dey make and say I talked about some be that creating of trade box. Ministry of Trade nisa agencies na kanina na all maxima na ye who say every product you can leading competitors any breakdown sales for no say who turn the 10 cedis now BC on there or better on 15 cedis say can that above for you so na say oni baby obit ma hwe
na wanya 10 cedis there na to na
obi so ebe na djuma e krapo de ama sa nkofo mu di dwa no ehu si ahana yate so won ne ye nya
ka betumi aboa ye beba sasam no so menya ma hokora se de ye ni abre a ye kuma dwadifo se dwadifo ye kuma made bia kuma mburu bia ne se de ema mo ho kire mu ntia ne ma no bo no kosoro no saa ne ma no ekoyie ma mo ho heha mo a adenti na ye nso a ye to ade ma ye ho heha ye adwadifo ye beba mo so na mo mra nya nso ben ye di nkomo nyina no economy sikasam ne ye ka ho asem but utumu say there are so many leakages the energy sector in 2023 auditor general report actually say irregularities in Kwa Ekoso no is about 8.78 billion Ghana cedis. 2023 8.79 billion Ghana cedis. 2024 I should call 18.41 billion Ghana cedis. Adia 8.9 billion. Afepe eko 18.4. Asa scanning in any baby fire. Maybe boss no hwe ye call energy sector public financial irregularities here. If you consider 15.8 billion Ghana cedis, representing 86%. Say ye call under declaration of revenue collected. Especially ECG, omojije no a. The oman declare as can say ekwaye eba abanfutuo mu no it's about 2.9 billion Ghana cedis.
95 billion. That's about 3
billion Ghana cedis.
Let's say 3 billion.
3 billion. Yeah.
Ghana cedis. Revenue omajiji o yeso omunyi omajiji. Enso ama aban ho ekọ na yehwe total revenue collected no. Womu enya 11 billion 591 million 174,225.48 Ghana cedis. And the domu declare yeni, declare 8 billion 637,758.625 million Ghana cedis. Eti dia woman declare no, 2.95 billion. Kasi abebo ba. ECG failure to disburse collected revenue to SOEs, any IPPs, it's 1.29 billion. Sikano moje, baby, I say, Konosanko, Eko, hey, Ben.
What will be some media made there? But, I think that before some about a question is, Mr. Manibeji said, Meka Nima Bika Craft budget. Doctor can some buffers, and I think many are some pencil to us. I think the buffers now say in all forms of buffers. I will say the cash, the gold buffers, and also the nationalizing and prioritizing productive sectors of our economy. Because I believe that for us to be very, very stable as a country, I will say you restructure your economy and you prioritize the production and production. I was say making sure say nationalize some aspect of production because ebema abribiano say disruptions be called on the global scale and I say a year create a buffer na dia maye and yes can go and be here. Yeah, you may have the dollars, you may have the gold, but if you don't have the production base,
the processes,
processes no na say BBS here be how enkoba bia. Now yes, many anu say about some paka energy sector na or the comparison. I think that me madikaka say krum hanum no beyond the energy sector now my yard are regulate your pricing because electricity regulate the indicators of electricity prices. Oko petroleum you regulate the indicators of even say any full regulation grana your partial regulation who say your indicators of fuel pricing. The biameka say road and transport ministry we need a commercial regulator within that space. JRTC is and backed by law, just a private company. And I think that if you're able to get something like that in that space, be regulating the transport. Now, who indicators are they set your transport first. Periodically, say bus indicators are favorable to the end user and as a commuter now. What is so? Say favorable. Your indicators near tomb. And beyond that, even the trade also be a regulator be over beer or some of these things so that be more fair pricing. About a system no munti yenhwe no so kakranka hom na menia on general economy, me philosophy about economics and well-being, no, and it's a economists biano, and also say niema miensa bi no be actually. How to improve the standard of living of your people, and improving the standard of living nature say will reduce poverty anyway among your people. How to create jobs and reduce unemployment among your people. How to bridge inequality and also create capabilities for your people. So be more school. And I think that Yenuya Atufosin has done it well. He's an unconventional economist. Why very innovative in within the short space, you know, at reduce prices. And Uti doctor said, we reduce prices. Buama with disposable income, no, a cost and we bet channel some to savings and other investment. Ebebwa ama uhia yono eswatifum. And they was say Ebona Baso. And Uche Nikasa Muswa, he's a patriot. Right? For some time, you don't get people who are very patriotic and want to solve problems.
Patriots know what the other side do.
Patriotic.
Don't worry, no.
Okay, so he's a very patriotic.
No, he just wanted to
No, it's a light side, don't.
Yeah, you know, you'll be a door mine. Because I'm or door mine, and now you TF4. And any leader who is participatory, right, will always get it right. Or Benyan ye, now in years. Nti eno no na mehwe ade ba kwa magic bi amafo ntia se da bia ye kan asem no to aye no ene se atoba na ka wo wan rashe ntuaka he didn't rush to pay the debt, right? So what he did was that let's use gold board to increase our reserves, gold reserves,
Push the currency down.
so if you push with the gold board increase your reserves, it will push the currency down. If it pushes the currency down,
External debt.
External debt
Reduces by 30%.
So you pay.
By now, about 30% of external debt is reduced.
That is the magic, simple magic.
Why are you exposing people?
No, but that is innovation. That's why
innovation.
Debt to GDP is about 41% now because of that.
The simplest
Because we're civil
economists, no matter class.
Yes.
Because one here about Fiscal so the kotia but
So oba ya no yes ontua ka no kre ontua, but no person edu ba bia nsa na otua because otie ni media budget ya otua ka no dudu na but one an cost yen san ka shasi na otua ya it will put pressure on the currency, especially external debt no e be push pressure on the currency na ma currency na depreciate na ma debt na balloon because most of the debt we pay in Ghana no a depreciation of the currency that causes those debts
And interest.
in dollars.
yes
Any
because especially
interest.
external debt
Any interest.
nti yes ano oma gold na bebu cedi no appreciate cedi appreciation no ama even interest rate enso kofum nti treasury bills and kabia obetua 20 something no say 14 nti local debt no short term instruments no kra no o this kana ne kana was no so tua no sa
says he saved about 8.9 billion.
It's simple, and I'm told he completed tech, even though I'm tech for him because I am a Legon
PhD.
Yeah, he completed tech. One ko Yale
For PhD.
One ko Yale, one ko Oxford.
And then who can say the best can come from Ghana? Our universities are one of the
Yes.
best. Technology na yeni.
Nti me da bia me ka say or sometimes yenu yan mo ko school abrochire mo fancha me some of us are overhyped.
At the Yale fire or banana.
No, I'm not saying that. Me ka say no, but some of us are overhyped. Right, because if can Legon plan and finance business can be magic. For me tech plan at my magic, you can Legon product.
Oh, and
It tells you that
Ivy League for just say open just say
No, but that is the essence of economics.
No, but the framing is important because said you do CV ko bia me CV me nya school kitu e because Holland one way ya eno na be mo adwuma but me school fa na wa ha say bi nimde ni nyansa eni about it's a good framing. It's a very
I think that Atu he has shown it, right? He has shown that he's an innovator. He has shown that he's very unconventional. And me Krumha we are seeing two economists pen and me pay mass and DBA me to become as one of the economists because there's this guy from Greece, Yanis Varoufakis. Meaning say what in Egypt during the European crisis. He was a Greek finance minister. Also unconventional. I've read a lot about him. Me penasem, and that is why I think most of our economists must think because me Martina economics class taught by most of the best economists in Ghana, but sometimes Mihun is very abstract. Let's be very practical, right, in solving our problems. And Atu has shown it that even though Musu won't yes, we won't but later what you can because it's strategy, it's thinking and critical thinking. I think Atu has done it. Now, there are other things in the budget too. Me supporting, and I think he must do further other things on it. Scrapping of marine gas oil. Now, no many can see car say now the car need diesel car, and a gas oil a diesel. The na OMCs ni billion ni say gas oil was say the ma trawlers no, and I say apufuo na omo kono deep sea akese no, omo divert this gas oil no onto the market.
No matoma.
Matoma yen.
Intina mo car ni say.
Yes. No matoma yen. And when we approach Ato and told Ato that Ato, some marine gas oil, it is leading to uncompetitiveness of the industry. Because people get these subsidized products and price them cheaper. Collapsing the industry. Yene ne kasa otie and our scrap marine gas oil. Indeed, say no been to me for bad product and a good product, but it's not meant for vehicular use. Product yedi ko you know your friend say a personal obi ntimi beton because ni nyina bo be pe. Na the minister say after marine gas no yen hwe premix fuel.
Also how?
I was say fuel because it is not good to subsidize input. Agri input product also subsidize smuggling, diversion, politicians never benefited. So let's scrap it and get a credit subsidy based on performance of some of these fisher folks. Because there be a almost 600 million Ghana cedis to these fisher folks. Then so still you import almost $300 million of fish into this country. It means that people benefit.
The impact is not.
How cry a woman say a sign a chia sign ebe do come. Because premix and also no a petrol.
Yeah.
Into petrol no a sign for chia OMC's phone be. Any some abai aduma phone be ni politicians be e for chia sign be toma e sell car. Nti ye car do say okromo nyina na premix.
I'm a victim.
We a victim one.
Me fuel you no.
And so nti yes ato say watumi ayi MGO. Let's look at premix too because e sika ye wasting kwa. E sika e koda politicians bottom e sika e koda OMC's for be bottom emo man. Let's look at that. Now we are through one so there are other things he did. For the first half of the year no power sector debt I think he projected 28 billion for the sector. What you mean allocating 9 billion? One of the highest in recent years. Because last 2024 you projected almost similar amount. For the first half of the year you only 4 billion. But we're projecting up to almost 40% in the first half of the year. As I the big crack also the 2.9 billion ebe ka ho na watua biom in the second half of the year. Ama scanner bo almost 30 billion. Why are there? That is uncommon. So ebema energy security and sustainability of the system. But beyond this, I think that we also need to look at the future of energy in Ghana. Because your dependable capacity is exhausted. Your installed capacity is exhausted. Your available capacity is exhausted. You see the 24-hour economy. By 2027, we are likely going to exhaust the 24-hour economy in the basin. You're building industrial zones. You're building AI centers and as a data centers are use a lot of energy. No? By 2027, you're exhausted. You're even install capacity. This install capacity and they say we need to begin to sign contracts, early contracts. And I think that only Minister of Energy no and come one or mutimbo na or monyano within the shortest possible so that by 2027 no doom so bia MFAC or my Ghana. Now to your question, hey, Eja, media bia meka kroma ho. Kroma one of the kura your systems no very weak. O can say car irregularities, you see almost 80% of them power sector. 86% of them power sector.
Serious, the whole country.
And not the energy sector in general.
Energy sector.
And let me say, if Honorable Matthew Poku Prempe, I respect him a lot, like he's a leader. If he supervised this and still had the audacity to be the vice president of Ghana, then it tells you the kind of leaders we are brewing in this country. So supervisors are born way because he was the sector minister. Me blame Akufo-Addo bebree because sector minister you are privy to a lot of this information. You report to more quarterly because last we make on office yes okosia ECG4 and okosia ECG4 e den asa na we abi na kwa kan ko. Nti okosia ECG4 no sebio mfaso be eninyama Ghana man. most of the meetings a day. If you are recording these huge losses in that sector, it means that he just supervised weak internal system, he supervised corruption, he supervised disregard for law. Because we have procurement act now, we have irregularities here. If you are PPA, Omambu PPA, Omamfa PPA anyere. If you are Financial Management Act, Omamfa anyere. If you are even internal structures like laws, also Omamfa anyere. It means that he supervised disregard for law. Say law no crowd kuma yemfa law nyere. Wamu law no. Wamumra.
Because most payment was supposed to be done through the gift make system.
And they didn't do.
They didn't use that.
And the declaring of revenue. It's a serious crime.
I know na maintain.
And you supervise it. He was there. And even had the gas officer or vice president, I tell myself, me call FES. The Germans will tell you that Abribio person holding leadership position, weigh yourself. That is how the wise build their people. Who person koye leader, we who say, leader we meet my ye na my pain. Mfa so be na abaso amamai. Now what na nas dream way akoso. They still want to be a leader. They tells you the kind of leaders you are bringing and the audacity with which some of these gentlemen are they even gentle anyway. Some of these guys want to lead. Na hard dream. Beba, nti me sa nyema we no, ade ba kwa say high kroma. Any lack of enforcement of laws. You penalize people.
I didn't know what ECG was. Not see me trust. True.
I
because who say nobody will do once and yes send him. Would ECG want to be a pabosum ben or so
because you under declare almost 3 billion.
I also take obligation default, you know. I can say scarce some come GR, you know. 709 million Ghana cedis. Share ECG unpaid invoice to Bui Power Authority. Since 2020. I can say Mukochiano accumulate here to the tune of $729 million dollars.
Yeah.
Bui Power Authority loan default penalty in Kwano. $846,000 US dollars.
So
just say Oboboswa.
So the basic problem is that you see the constitution of most of these state-owned entities. And I think recently, Nameka stakeholder engagement with respect to nuclear Ghana or most of the on cooperation. I acquired Ghana nuclear IGMPC. The short name is GMPC, Ghana Nuclear Power something corporation. And now lawyer na start say kasa. And so that be an blame some pamo. Lawyer na start say or kasano. Or say or more build the constitution of the board. Now I start the board chair will be appointed by the president. 1. The chief executive officer appointed by the president. The board members no. Ombeyi Obi from the Ministry of Energy. The Ministry of Energy and Green Transition also appointed by the minister. Minister na president na appointed no. Obewa represent your board no so. Additional 3 persons appointed by the president on the same board. And fortunately Ghana Chamber of Commerce eka ho ba ko. And another company, I think the independent organizations now, institution-based organizations, no A2.
Okay.
The 7 members no more board no, and 9 members no 7 are appointed by the president, directly or indirectly. President.
The same mistake.
How do we supervise efficiency of these organizations if we hand everything to the presidency? And we know how our politics is run in Ghana. You know say your politics here. Sometimes you're doing say you per se papa but you nim. Nti me catch you say na menia. You see a state-owned entity. You can say an executive-owned entity. You can say a president-owned entity. So if it's a state-owned entity, let the state reflect in the organization. Faith-based organizations or Kruma. Chief Imam Office or Charismatic then Christian Association, National Fetish Priest Association or Divine Priest Association. If it is state-owned, these are reps I will follow on the board. And that is how we should establish our boards. If it is state-owned, they are CSOs within the space. Say energy sector, your energy sector CSO sa. Bubet ma kase CSO sunya munka mumbo. Na munyi nipa baako bia Emmanuel Okansi ombeka ho. Oka ho a CSO no be ensure transparency because ono wo dey protecting interest.
Yeah.
And most of these CSOs before you benya foreign grant no, this is herself oye obi a oye very transparent in your dealings. Nti on penin fa ne ho be for oye ni free ho a you institutional base bia Ghana National Traders Chamber of Commerce and other institutions who can be part research institutions.
Yeah.
And my part of these boss. But your law, no lawyers for no cotenasia, meaning whether they think that when we hear state, it believe what is state I believe it belongs to executive. Yes, Omoti state it belongs to executive. President appointed the 3. President Ubekona Obia a president. It is a president appointed ECG. No one also appointed Buya. A better na ECG adi Buika. ECG Bubet Maharazan is a famous command. On to me because you your mind. Two companies I belong to the same president and executive power. Nti on 20 can be a no home. Now the other part is that the constitutional boss no super problem ho. Sometimes if I look at MPA board and other boards now must say now you say top board me you be no me say na me you top board you go there ho. What is your experience in the petroleum downstream? But because of political benefit nti e dey na kwahye ho. Nti eja ye dey me nu kwahye ho. Oni nimdie bia fa procurement ho. Oni nimdie bia fa FM ho. Financial Management Act ho. Eno an say de na kwotena say board bosumi bia beje okakra. Nti say bosumi bia beje okakra. Say MD no and mama see we so. Ye krom ha. State organizations no and state entities no their MDs and CEOs are even powerful than the boss. Usually. Because some of the members on the board come as beggars. They are not established people. Nti say MD no and a show board member. Okay.
To be enkasa nanim. To be tinetine no. Yeah.
So let's look at how we constitute our boss. If you hwe ni ya sa dream we no ebeye ade a eto betwa. Say you hwe ni ya we nedio that last maybe had 2 years ago me no be kan irregularities in the power sector. This year ye kan next year be san kan until we reform some of these things in the sector. We restructure the sector for profitability. The last part I think that we mentioned that too, the Minister of Finance. We need to cap the power sector in terms of employment and also compensation. And not only the power sector, the whole energy sector space. Ne unim obino a teacher near party winning your person called MPA. Party winning your person called Ghana Gas.
That's true.
Party winning your person called GMPC. Party win minimum be our police ni higher rank or job at GMPC.
Or resign.
Or resign because GMPC pays twice. They are not OG. And these guys go there redundant employment to Minia. Omoko wa wo de ko he ayi na no aja wo na ya ko ta ko online Ghana Web, any P7 online, any UTV. Mami ya appointing ko Ghana National Gas Company Limited. Mami na yede ko na no ya no. Also ko ho no there was redundant employment. Nkrofo ti wa akonwa kro mo ntimi ntina so. Omu ni bi no matina so.
DMPC is happening.
It's happening eh.
These
guys are paid 15,000 Ghana cedis a month. 20,000 Ghana cedis, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 Ghana cedis a month in this country. Oh yes. Yes.
No,
you see, so a lot of these irregularities are there, and these guys are also the corrupt guys.
Yeah.
Until you interested in constitutive boss, no, we need to reform. Matisse says here introduce private sector participation in the stream. You introduce private sector across still ECG will be ECG. And belongs to the state until lawyer for no best samra na mayen. They are making sure say independent state within state, independent stakeholders are made to be part of boss of public operations. No, mean you are corruption because now my reho say metie na unia afenyo marking what parliament and now catch and say being a board chair he supervised rot and he could not do anything about it. He said it in parliament too.
Yeah,
and he was not even reprimanded. And honorable for so sometimes Omukasa be dishonorable, but at least the honorable no was in a good name because want them to be honorable. Intimekasa eba we na eja where the Miss Rose almost 86% in the power sector no. The yebejis can be because Matisse Auditor General say most are recoverable. The yebejin yenje by year these days mahu NDC for Dr. Yenene same side almost strategy be 60%. Na Miss Rose yempe 60%.
Yeah, Jessica nyina.
Jessica nyina.
That's why we enter say do kotum kwa.
Ye enu so wi a obi e wo so dem onam. Say Macho Poco Premier also them because no. See, he was a minister.
Don't personalize.
I'm not personalizing. I'm personalizing his office.
Okay.
He was a minister. Afenumaki was a board chair. He supervised some of these criminal activities, and these are organized crime activities. Because if you look at senior internal auditor Onimhubi, MD Nimhubi, procurement officer Nimhubi, accountant Nimhubi, and Niamino Kasoko ECJ, some of these guys are still there. Yen Saki Obia.
But that's a bed. But me ko I used to ya brand your wall. Your 30 minutes. And see,
bro, say unia uma we 1 hour.
Yes, sir. Or no, I be so not intense. Into the body, sir. Near mano.
I said 30 minutes.
That you, Mikasa.
Yes, I'm a you best share be na yima. Me perceive share your co security so be out the kakra economy no there. But you share security in some cost dia esi ewo the issue of Boko, I can't want some of here severally. Any highway shooting, shoot to go for your sin and see a council of state member or no sober. And Robert's be trying to quemu a genius can any two police in your canoe shooting him on the coy. And passenger car, a rubber nest in the or no
for interview
or no so boom yakunu. They see was one say and then answer Anajua, young Kabishi, Mufu for a sense view. Yan share no. That for yan share be said. And now you can say IGP me pacho. You were a Christian tete yohunu me pacho. Say esa na mind intino a wudie I mere amedi pebi. Me this has much over about 3 years in here. Or done important. I'm forbidden on waje illegal mining ni mu anya sam keto akra. Ama say ka say ya Chinese forbid one ma bankra ha. I'm on him be or no feel or that area who are so belly Chinese for no. You were your home, minimum so wo bre pass and a bear, Uberquetia, Galamsin, wo papa. Me say, ya Chinese for be. If you or that area, how do my backra? Any kind of phobia, you say, woman to Galamse, I say in Sony Quaya Yasam Katua. And now he be, and him for be. I want that area why, chim da heya. One more ever barely China for no some sanko back and quail Majumano. You wrote it, who know. Yet to see a summer class central. Now, you just a bomba bill, na. Ye need base 6 in the go. Ye shen anana Obama bill, no. Ye niming and ye yam modino. You be put dinner at the appropriate time. Say, na we are there, I say, Jow such a so much a chilima. Nasa wo, utimi, my China mean. Ebe say you so near quiet, na gana my mra exenoa. One and another was after Cheso Belinoa. Yabeka was some affair no chi. A brand table mubunu kuno. I know Suachi di Pebi and also some Efagam say Kuriano. And also some more Yadi Yima. Make us as a woman in idea basis to say. I come here, I say. I would not be so simple for us these days. Bibi anaka Ghana for you to me, I say. It makes sense. Your own Ghanaian. It's a best simple. Am I cry? You should see.
Yeah.
What do you think? Security wise, I said on mine. The national security assembly again.
Yeah, me that's it. My fa wa kunje suna. Your papa, yali. Maybe all be a nyami fa ne kransi.
Yeah.
Okay, you program we every day na wa friend na. Not too full. How we can be useful to the state. Now, my Minchia production team, you know, Ankasa, for bringing the finance minister here today. I think that Atu Yadawase, you have shown that you are the people's mind. You've shown that governance is just the little things. This is the first time me say finance minister during nko school yenti brofo so obe explaining government policies aye there actually more often than obe home or these English channels ni nema nti we are humble there betima can say God be with you. Now managing the economy is the practicalities. Bringing inflation down near the end what is in our pocket, how we can bring inflation down, and how we can create jobs for our teeming youth. ade ba kwa mpese mi nka na mi move security asem no ye the smuggling asama minister no kan onim say retail business in this country, foreigners are not allowed to be engaged in it.
Yeah.
We share your retail markets is here. A foreigners watch
Yeah.
every year Ghanaian for her. And at the end of it, yentimin retaining yesika. Omunya aha no mabejeha. And they repatriate these profits in what? Dollars. And say BBA say on share. Another 10. Yeah, our natural resources mobilization. Sebi okrom ha. I mean Africa in general. Nka yetimi mobilize your natural resources and we benefit from SEMA. Nka nobody be free krom ha anansi Africa so called amanoni say oko pay juma aye. For nothing at all, Burkina Faso have shown us the way. Niger omuji France or say France is your omu pacho. So your leaders no, yes, they should think about young kwala yana namu ayenye uomo because obroni no or thinking generational many years ahead. But at the end of the day, one of you spoke about it. Now the collapse of the banks also, the saving of NIB, Mukai, when we collapse the banks in this country, problems I had to buy. The security dimension was too much. Now NIBCC are too in its own wisdom, or the government are saving with 2 billion. We save over 900 jobs, and for the first time, NIB annual profits in the first quarter. Yemperia edena yepe. Na adeba kwa me say other political parties should learn say yetihana yekasa is more than the classroom. Because we don't just come here and sit down and talk. We do a lot of research. Personally, last night, Amanda, me da around one because I can come and sit here and me can say my meaning. And I'm happy say you made a statement, say you made a proposal atutie or implement here. Ebo mo ananse mbo mo. Na eja okay 2 years ago. In some I can ahanyina no. That's why this government have come and they have implemented it. Ejuma ananse enye ejuma. So governance is about listening. Sebi common sense and that nipa bakutimu. Me bakitwa betima kasama kyerɛ me na me dia aye adwuma na aboa me nti enye se yete ha na ye kasa ye tan obi a o man no papa yo na ye kasa and won say adwuma we enye easy to be here and talk because you make enemies for yourself invariably because so dey o can say this is what you feel say ebeboa o man no. And before I go, prosecution is the reason why corruption still persists in this country. It's not deterrent enough. Who mentioned Matthew Opoku Prempe and Afenyo Markins? If they have committed a crime, and then the government is not going for them. To be very fair to these people, because it's not easy to build your credibility to a level and perception but destroy that. Yeah. What I say. So if these people, and look, this is captured by no other authority than the Auditor General of the government of Ghana. So what are state institutions doing about it? You are clothed with all the powers. Go after them if they have committed any crimes. And gold board, and I want to hammer on it. Ghana ha any initiative we are starting here perfect. A chasem no na acquire something else. Until you per se yensre abino. Katas no ya pa mucho. They should safeguard the gold bond with all the energy it can massage because you're the ediaba your currency. We are all enjoying a Utia school fees amanonia. You are saving a lot. And then prosecution will care about this government. Mpese ministry. Meaning say many of the former government appointees are facing many of the intelligence agencies. Ebima started to asika. Yes. That is why some of us were very surprised about the by say 60% or mubeji 40% and when they did that to Kwabena Dufo, I was sad as a citizen because Kwabena Dufo is not mean a personality. Why a governor of the Bank of Ghana that? Why a finance minister that? So he should be the last person to be involved in some of these things. Also, they treated those banks as if it was almost personal ATMs. No more borrows can demand or more close friends and things. So if it is that Mbekwa Korea a bicycle, not me the 60% bar, not my keep it 40%. Oh, say and the minya Jumabi Mbekwa Kobo a bank chrono. Mbekwa Kobo chrono. And look, these monies have been with these people for a long time. Mibwa. So Sebi Osaskano, if you are a true businessman, would you ejuma? When busu. So they should not only just take the 60% and drop the case. It's not setting a good precedent. Or more arguments say, omo here sikanam for development our hospitals and roads. It makes sense. But what precedent are we setting? It makes sense. But what precedent are we setting? So over 8 years, omo antime and prosecute omo. So to go that route, would the for 60% brand no call. Now work on that. Nti chama to me more chama to me to Yoko cells. We couldn't sleep in this country. Minority crack continental form. No. What has happened with that case? 60%. 60%. Nti 60% na omuye de omuye. And answer sebi is scratch my back and scratch your back. So the ochina sebi if they change your government, let me suma back between 60%. Yembu or mine, sir. Now let's come to the security aspect. Ghana has been touted as the beacon of democracy in Africa. Yeah. And OSHA peace building initiatives across Africa, we are the best. They always praise the Ghanaians. So what is happening in our country lately? Obehu na this obia waha attacks we waha asamba kuna yese yamfa yenim embaso. Ghanaian, by our training and nature, we are very peaceful. Yeah. When we say these things are happening, it has foreign connections. Okay. And yet foreigners never had no mudisa mbonina. They have come to train some of us no omudie die ejumano. Now ECOWAS, movement of goods and persons, no. The goods can continue, but the persons no sebi. I'm sure say ECOWAS antimi implemented that aspect. So I'm not criminals, no. Omutimi cross all the borders within the ECOWAS enclaves to do whatever they want to do. Because your borders near so porous. And if there's a kidnapping ring in Nigeria, they can move to Ghana when they are closing down on them in Nigeria. Okay, I say Nansia authorities by say they say some Ghanaians who were being trafficked to Nigeria and other places because of poor border management and because of this ECOWAS protocol, and boye. Intermediate, the Mbeka say the illicit weapons in our hands, and they cause all these things. And look, me baho, Usha UN report 2023. Almost 70% of the illicit small arms in West Africa, it comes from legal stockpiles. That is so worrying.
Police for Amory.
Exactly.
Everywhere. Wow.
So, Owen say, military for assembly, and yeah, assembly, we should joke with it at all because it's a serious matter. because as some as you as I say, AK-47 was involved.
Yeah.
2 days later, the same star AK-47. Armed robberies, a go your crimes in any AK-47. Sa weapons no. Every hin na ebaye. Nteya mikasa some way. Ushe the Bible when the issue of the woman who was accused of adultery. Chukra mechanism na ejumabo. Why do you think Jesus allowed the woman to go? Because it takes 2 to tango. And yes, sir. I don't know about your bano.
No job, man.
No job, man. Until Jesus can say, he who knows he has not sinned before, no, he should be the first to do what? At the end of the day, so be a journey. It is say bribe given lawyer. To prove that obia more bribe, there must be a giver and a taker. So, who share the military weapons almost a year, and the minister have come to confirm say ampa ayira is a command issue. It's a command issue because who share the protocols around weapons the military armory, they are guarded 24/7. And before you can move such ammunitions, there must be more than 2 commissioned officers. Those are the rules. So how could such weapons get missing? So media may treat it as some way say be a scandal. No, I don't want to see that as a scandal. But to me, as a security analyst, me feel say it's a wake-up call for us. Say yeah, evaluating a year name there a year. For all you know, this thing has gone on for a very long time. Okay, 2 years and last year, videos be by say there was a pickup at the armory at the Ghana. Last year, they came to deny it. Now a new government has come. No, almost say they can account for thousands of ammunitions. And look. These ammunitions, they are not just weapons. They represent the trust of the Ghana Armed Forces. To safeguard me and you and our sovereignty. Yet treating as just weapons, and they will be missing the point. And Usha in the democracy, the military, if there is break of trust within the military, and amambo. So let's look at the implications. Public safety, armed robbery, terrorism, violent extremism. They are fooled by these weapons. Because if you don't have weapons, you can't engage in this kind of activities. And there is no way, apart from using the illegal rules to bring these weapons, You and Nankasa report say 70% of these small arms, it comes from legal stockpile. So it means that it's a big business for some people. So reports way by when? 2023. Security sector reforms or security architecture, and then lawyer. Nothing. Now, over state security, there are a lot of challenges because weapons were caught in the wrong hands. They can sabotage the government. They can easily use these weapons to cause coup d'etats. And in the Sahel, say Burkina Faso coup, maybe Niger need their coup. Even Togo is here, so Togo. Even Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, there beba enche. October. So ECOWAS were here. They are quiet too. But in San Koba, no more become bro focus, young boy might say. And then you look at the regional impact. We say we are surrounded by countries facing insurgencies.
Yeah.
Ghana, there are because I say Nyami doye power. And what we are missing is that terrorists in Bebre or Ghana, only the Omuya or Krumha, they come to plan here, they come to mobilize resources here and go. Bebre Kraba for medical treatment. So yes, security agencies, Omutimi collaborating with your hospitals. They should be interested in patients who come with foreign distance. They should not just go in the name of ECOWAS protocol and help tourism. What I say? Some of them are wounded from activities of terrorism or this violent extremist act, and because Ghana is peaceful, normal beyewaha. And the violence nature activities we are witnessing, the form of armed robbery, is an offshoot of terrorist groups. Because omuba kromha, no omube survey omukeso, we are a bit manyaska. Why wouldn't they do it? So our security agencies, and so omu api omu ejuma in terms of intelligence. Fortunately, our IGP is an intelligence man. But Nehemiah GNSM, because once stamping your authority, some of us will begin to miss Dampare. Truth be told, okay, I say Mibaha, I was one of the person who criticized Dampare more, because for the single reason that he centralized the police administration. PROs no muntimin kasa. You don't hear about the regional commanders, crime statistics. Nemba. You will know about 6 months. You per se your crime statistics. You per se your actions in a lot of places. Dampare other things was you benefit from a system. To say your police ne work or steady leave, work on your qualifications aba. You have the practical and the theoretical experience. Who is better qualified to be promoted? Now work of new graduates, and they'll come into the system with less experience, and the senior those who have the experience and holding the same qualifications. What I say. Meanwhile, the same system IGP economic bibia or in Kenya the same system. Dampare who have still been in the service as an ACP. And can do this your people. What I say. So now, the lost credibility. Say in my open statement, I can say we are the beacon of democracy in Africa, peace building. So yeah, at the lack of international trust at the brain, because Amanoni omu respect Ghana pa. So if we allow some of these things to happen, and look. These ammunitions are Yekano. It's for combat. It's not supposed to be in civilian hands. We are talking about AK-47, the M16s, the G3 rifles and grenades and those things. So I hear say government have commenced investigation. Why they commence that investigation? Me feel say almost say NIB. National Investigation Bureau. No. Me feel say to bring a closure to this matter in a non-partisan mode, it should be the Parliamentary Select Committee on Security, Defense and Interior. You know why? One say Asanwe P and the Deputy Minister can say it's not true. Your transition teams, are the handing over news, then or omudima this government. And there's one element we forget. Only say military intelligence. But I want to assure people today that they are the engine of intelligence in this country. Or at best, they should investigate this thing and make the findings public so that we can rebuild public trust.
What can say be about it? You could when it's a small arms commission for
because okay, I said 2 years ago, you see the commission at East State, they don't have the teeth to bite. They should make it an authority so that it can regulate. Okay. At its current form and shape there,
me that's it. Ya brana ya be you se mention to the yencha de be me say menu bi na yen sorry me sure say Dr. Atakweso doctor yes so in koma ye di na nyina ye ka nyina abo makowie economy esa say security e good am investors ba investor confidence in investing in the country no eba say corruption enso yetumi bre na sese na ECG niam energy sector and me tumi nda say sika a wunhu bebi a enyunu koyi say sika no nyina wo system no ma abema economy no atumi agina. It's in your opinion as a business person, as financial analyst, 2 minutes mono. I did not did say ye currently. Now ye to me a boy a man to me jina because one, they are making investor confidence, security wise. Any sa corruption cost yes, yira. Ebiani say 60% in a corner as for them and I did not give see a year but to me a boy ama sa corruption kwabe enya kodo so bi beye bi netu obo ma economy netu mi agina
pacho me da say the edi kind is say obiye boni a wo say punish no na wo say e sha ase free omo wo power na I was say the president must be very decisive.
We do kan maka Bible mu say Jesus Christ crack say atemu no be fear say if you no any fear.
Very good.
And then oh yes for.
Inti o share the structure of administration na o di tutu Bible ho na say o konisa you'll be successful in every leadership because the administrative procedures and the policies every Bible. Inti o di share o share say free hono a na say wo a wo ye CEO wo a wo ye appointee DCE MCE whatever you are now who say at the presidency they are cracking the whip on those who are in charge at the top who are work from no exactly because utumi can say me who ye boni a wo be frɛ obi ama nipa no aboa because nia wo be frɛ no anga say eto no ye punish no so that is why it has to start. And the president Eka said he will move away from the usual rhetoric to a decisive and action driven leadership. Say ye be hu say we ekoso and I think say me say President Mahama Antumi Ansesa Ghana, no president can come and change Ghana because the experience he's having and he has with regards to how our climb be from the grassroots to the top, opposition in government, omo amaye ne bone, omo a odigidi ahye omumu a omo disappointing no. This experience I can see say he is leading with that principle. Now, otwaso sa ebeboa. If you look at the people he has appointed to I can say he has authority over them. Inti who pese ye saw corruption anwa. The ehia pan say ye be share say leadership will take decisive decision in making sure say ye punish the wrong. Eba sana it will be disincentive to those who want to go into it. The medi be chat about the economy say so many policies, fantastic ones. I was say, yeah, making sure say these policies will be tailored towards supporting the Ghanaian in building Ghanaian capacity. Example, look at the number of banks we have in Ghana. We have collapsed
those are
foreign owned.
No matter how you build your economy, in our bar, it's not back.
Because
so whilst we are talking about 24-hour economy, we are talking about investor confidence. We're talking about building factories. We should intentionally build these factories and this economy with Ghanaians. That is the only way the economy can be sustainable in terms of the fiscal space. And this it doesn't matter how much reserve you build. When the big companies come and make all the money, they will take all away. And the economy will be going back, forward. But when we build local capacity, the energy sector, how can we build local capacity? The intensive and the capital nature of it. Yet to me, yen sana. Seconding na ebesa kangana.
Would you say, a buying car and some company can say some of the collapsed banks are revoke license unlawfully local banks so beside their bank no them company adwene sa.
Meaning here adwene more than 100%. If we say, no matter what happens, when you juma na say a Juma foundation a Ghanaian foundation, it helps the economy more than a foreign one. It's a fact. Who they share? Now say dividends companies declare rebate. The Bank of Ghana want to rationalize this. And sikane be free money mun endorse until sana your reserve na ya build on be affect no who you Ghana ni na who build Ghana business na onya profiter this say na Zoom Lion say okọ different country onu so ko ye juma wo the money will rather come Argentina we don't have any Ghanaian bank in any of the other countries look at how they are rather coming but how many Ghanaian banks is able to even establish a branch in Togo and Nigeria. So how will you? So we have to be intentional. You know, President, Papa say, all the local banks that were collapsed, if there will be the need to bring them back to support them, I can tell you, say, this economy will boom. Otherwise, if we build the economy on foreign investors only, we can only partner them, but we cannot build the economy on them. When you do that, you not move forward the way you expected to move forward.
Doctor, some kind of maybe so can say the doctor can you know. I didn't say what they are or say a woman any dear way you seen them. So a woman any a media means so and say a special cool media. Say they am a pen and menom nafa. But say a woman yima and I say me name in a idea. E mi banumi yima ba ni bunko funi. Na me no mu ikura na enko do do. Me fa iman sana manum. E bi so na skomo de be pesa me nom. But you may know what me to me nom. Me so I'm starving. Enti sad ye no wayen. Yen fa ni say enfum so bi ni ye. And deliberately ye tumi agu ya banks. Yen ka ni sa. E bi enfum so bi no mo ye na agu banks na agu na sefo na. Wo gidi see e be den ye tumi empower our local system no. Na ma system no tumi agina se na be ya se ye sika no dodo no a aka ha ya. Esa sa hwe gold asoma kan say ade no yen see yen 10 billion. Nkrofon say 50 billion. It's a 40 billion kwa de hu hwe yo. And you kra na kan ke yenim. To gidi say den ye betumi aye. Na ma system na ye local system. I say external ones be back na foreign one be back na be just about 20% bi. Na 80 na ye Ghana dia.
Over let me say catastrophic corruption. Yetumi kontia corruption enkwa wo kro we mu a indi hia bio. Ye mre bio. Niama ohwe koba nyina finance minister niama ye bo nsema dodo na ye cutting down expenditure any corruption any waste and odi age say gold board ya minyan muke na ye wiafa as ane illicit financial flow eno ana na edi edamiti ye me say ho no bank ya o kan say ye gunu yi nyina na corruption so essence wo de epie mu ho ye na ye ba ye sek ye besiesie bank na ejina no sika ye bo ka be se 10 cedis a ye be bo bank no ye gunu no ni ye de 50 cedis na be gu 10 cedis eka eno so crapo ma hu se sa katashe ni pro esa ko unity wo na ye ko enim biom no ye me se ye ntwa ye ho kan ye nkoso ye cutting down expenditure ye me se o save ye 133 billion cedis bi awaka ho no ye nkoso ye we say independence day here we twa so size of government say okay e wa haya ni e ka say aban no the ministers yente so ye kan ye sa na obi aba wante so anko 70 na 80 na 57 as on 56 na dey for abekan ndi ye wie nyina ye 60 ye no so ne ye kan ye expanding the tax net say omobebi eto na gigie no mu say makati de bia meka night and down economy say ko brani bi o odi ni dwa ahomenache na meka o price o mi so ana as na ebete 24 hour economy etbe say na de na meka no say amenya be maka yi enye say enim dodo o enso ye ka kra e ko hu ye no mi hu o malata market e hu o domi market obi ko yi ni board ya na ka kese mu 70,000 de ba we ya maka nketo na no wapon na dwuma kofie ta sin kra ye mpetua dada na o say ontwen na obeji usika anopa obi so edi ni dwa ta ma me ne wo ye ba show yi na ka me fa se na me ba me nya daje ento ye ko dwuma so asa enso se ma poni na me ko a enyume 536 no obi di ni dwa e wo La Paz na obi di ni dwa e wo Circle osi night market once na ye wo mi esanso wo ho obi beton ni dua na e di anti e so ko ji usika wo yenko eni no dialogic spaces say be di unkita ho wo be ha de nti a ye nuanum bebre yi e kasa wo ha sisi a ana omo ebo atofo samba so se otie ne ye ka no ana odi den edwuma eno so eboa ye ya mi se ye betwa ye ho ka no so kakra debt management na se no men ka se busia bo enyo na wo nikanika baako na nikanika baako na odi ye wedwuma na wakoje busia na nikanika ne yeton bi okro no mu still na wankoto nikanika ni bi ambe kan na wembie antre edwuma ni mom enso mom wo se akonya na ote so no e de nyam nikanika no koto kese bi efe na obetena so e de anyam za bru na biuma enna na ye ka no ana wo be penti nikanika dan ne ho na wama air condition aba nikanika dan ne mu eno na wo ye bia ende oko diska na oko je ebe ji abo enti se sia no yemde chacho eye transparency aminya be maka fa edwade bibia ye bia transparency emunda ho manka se mesofo eye kronfo enso ye wie ekofini amape ye say dwada for my 1000 memeda for my say yenye be say emunda ho enti se sia no ntina na ye kan say all kan yin say transparency and accountability around the tax revenues no ye man enko nanim security in semi okay offer min oti we mi ka tese kodi dwa ewo Ukraine oba kodi dwa o security no kan no an okay 24-hour economy o the economy bia bia no security will be very important minya no muti nyina ese minya be maka ye de anu obetumi nkwa de ye be ka so CPP or ye MPP or ye NDC say onim economic issues, any issues that are hurting this country. Yeah, for politics and yet that
economics, education, security.
Una yeah. Say you tuding. And then I my nyansa say you nye. You say Agya Kwabena. Name fifi. And the obiano and tafo crano. You say pain and the kakra. And to more see from that chrono crapuno. You people in fact me Romani. You say for what you have done, what you have failed to do. What you have done for the omo boy ekono mu wi aya no. What you have done for the omo na omo gina omo chi e bomb so say onye hye no. What you have failed to do for the me no. Say ye hye ye gina hye hye ye. E ma doctor na oje nkofo nkwa e wo accident ward e wo kolebu. E du ono no so say Ghana beje no no. Ovu ye.
Oh yeah.
The blood of that doctor is on all of us ahead.
Yeah.
Those of us who decided to chop the money. Ah yetime to nyama na mfa nye anje no. Omobeko wo so amene wo yete ha ya ye de yemi ehwe say ye twen no we should wait for it e beduru mine wo so na duru ye so ambulance ne beba na obi beje ya na ambulance ana ofa ye otie de ne ka afami akwa yakoduru ya se o anka we de ke ye wo we anka yetimi ji no enso we ye ni we nti no ye hwe no na me ho me pon sa na me ko a ene ye ne sa but unim sa abuse now say me ne we abe kan aye kan omo be twa ye mpoa sa enso yesu ye be koso ya kasa esa say yesu crap no a politician yesu oba no be kan say ye to aba ma nyame ye fa ye ho ma nyame enti Muhammad eso so a politician ono so ba say obe win souls ama ala enti yesu ya be
convanoche
so a politician see as ya enti ye nyina dia ho agye mi dia whether you like it or not we believe in Ghana and no kwaso ne wo enti Ghana bibia be yi ye na enye ma ye na ma appeal na me de ma minister no be san to abio see a oya ma companies in Ketewa no threshold no ma so no on san so ma tax free threshold no e ma workers no so ujitum dia obi a oji bibi less than 500 Ghana oya de not na Ghana ha nyama otiti ye eduane krapo na omo ye ebusia nkofo 3 pe wo mu a so omo di 20 cedis a day omo nyina no omo di 20 cedis a day krapo a times 30 days no 600 and to be e wa ase no na 20 cedis ye means every day yet me di so 20 cedis a day krapo ye ka fa ye rent bibia kodim 20 cedis a day a 600 cedis and to bibia be no ye ma tax band no so ye ma so na entra 600 not 700 and excise taxes no so on keeping ye bibia no ye de ba be mo pay NCDC nyame me ye fie de na me ye fie yira sampiyale esa se me akwara no me active play or ranger na secretary of state senatela me na ke odi mu ye nyi woni na ase obehwe ye so one of the days me ba ha na me bo chere no my son and to say me kind party it is somebody who he crossed parties or no political parties oni me sure obetena ha oni mu nya di nkomo
ye wie kura otu ejinafo
look at persons like him look at persons like PV Obeng Ambassador Sehemu on the NPP side. Some of them, you see, when you compare the caliber, exact Kojoba, please don't go further. Honorable Kojoba, the student leader. Yeah, demonstration. You could do, you feel go, you could do ministries. Not in the air. Obi a yeti mu no ye minister be pia no akoshe vanda t-shirt say oni bibi ono ye minister president ankasa o kase ho enti yenko ne yenko kase ho afi yenko do 28 liberation square no you say spirit bi kai ye me na nanom agete mu kase
na musa mo
ma yenko inside and onu ko gina statue so no ye kasa these are the people. And so if you look at people engaging, you have on both sides of the political divide, the leading parties, Ghana only be a crime over politics in more, you crime now almost say NDC, NPP, UP, and CPP, and almost start over football more, a house, over for the Akabia Beckham, over really religion one, you see Muslim and Christian. And to have me, young Quakanema, Ubinko, Ubiasum, Kosi, Prapua. We should be held for our actions and our inactions.
That's it. My main call, so yeah, Simami, you know, would you say then you bet to me? I made security won't say me. I would say, I don't know what can in our boma every year about security, corruption. Why, say to me, blaming in association in our economic growth. It would you say then you bet to me, I their ACA. Na yempa anopomachi bre the leadership e bia na make say ordinary important ya Chinese for the woman ba as a leader wo asese otumi hwe na se nipa bonefo esenso ni ekwaye no ya chicha na ni na ba no wo fi ukrom ho atutum toma e se pobo so o bebeli onipa o se Ghana ye japade no it's a leadership no so then agidi say etumi ye ho
jamida se de dikan ya me ani nko food sufficiency aduane ayedi the menu animal can na me no mo ya but in terms of priority the dikai food sufficiency which is agri business and all the value chain say on my mono yenim say vulnerabilities are na say war BC war Ukraine ya meka say wheat boy den nti afa the economy ni na atobaha. If we can feed ourselves, whether it's feed Ghana, whether it's your friend is about planting for food and jobs, rearing for food and jobs, whatever the program is, we should be able to be food sufficient. Because Ediane is physiological. They're twice a year open so near Ediane. The programs of the government, no. Omen and Inco Agric no into the agri business aka Ministry of Trade we're hoping say the Ministry of Trade Eberman and Niako agric and agri business the planting the agro business and the value chain no say yetimi fidi ho abesi ene yes dey be I catch chicken ho asem over the value of food we are importing now you can businesses are you betimi ayo okrom ha a better inyane any the dollars the share dollars I declared yana sabi o asase yantam no he kwaya ye wo ha any kwan say come bi obi a okrom ha nti that's the first thing I would say food sufficiency there tozo me no ahun here pa energy sufficiency say etimi afidi ehun wi a eja enyina munkane ane ECG ni energy sector fuel ni sania mano ni it's one of the biggest risks if we can solve the energy related issues no na yetimi solving all the energy related whether it's building new gas plants whether it's so that we are all the related energy issues no making sure say the capacity of Ghana's related industries are promoted it's yetimi fidi ho na ye boy nyam kanea aye adwuma de to so me say ja meka ni say sebi employment ni nimde what is skills principles and structures sebi nipa ye ti anda be chekere man no into school ko kwan be nimde be ni eche wo school sam adwuma be ni eche nipa su ni mudro de bi I can say Adam Smith na economics and most of us know
Your rate is answer no wealth of nations, which is the baseline of the engine I knew. Or book which is called the theory of moral sentiments. Theory of moral sentiments and can once and because and no yeah say demand and supply and we nipa su ni nipa character ni what is the corruption you know can't ni penifo be brakan without moral sentiments obey niama no say bi obi be fa the akoto Suez account nti dia wo be ni nyina e be say nti dia to so na meka no energy vulnerabilities baba na risk say bi now no say US na Iran you say Israel na Iran these vulnerabilities will happen externally. There was a sustainability of our own country and local security. I'm sure say the sovereignty no national security interest. You bet me about a home buy. You already ane. You are fuel. I am for basa ebiama. Inti yama really building a Ghana and an Africa that is self-sustaining because sebi obi nfi abonte mechicho my ejamedase
ya medase ben ya bra na be but 2 minutes bi pa na ya hwese pese e concentrate on yi sa de ekoso energy sector ho e dey na betumi sa sikai ma me hwe sanka mitumi calculate ya anka e betumi akase beba yenya 84 million Ghana cedis ba 840,000 US dollars.
A million.
Nina come by 15.8.
We 1,000.
And how can you now 15.8 billion?
Billion. Dollars.
So first of all,
15.8 billion.
So 15.8. Next year, next year, I think this year, now buying Benya 2.9 from the 1 Ghana city now they count. Because it's beginning half of year. But if it's a full year, no bit money about 5.7 billion. 5.7 billion, no, it's about 30% of this 15 billion, right? Nti wabe ha obi otonfu obi otofu elde ka ho adwuma. Say ontua 1 Ghana city na sika no 15 billion.
So obi bottom.
So irregularities ebi ho a enhye obi bottom per se. But ebi ho a just mismanagement and disregard for law.
Okay.
And also be disregarded law or disrespecting law. It was a mranity. But the problem Krumani said because of I scratch your back, you scratch my back now.
Okay.
So we need to make sure that every man mrano and then manage 60% in mrano. Okay. The second one also is that it was a year reform the structure and the composition of most of these state-owned entities. I quite remember say last 2 years the former Minister of Finance now presenting SIGA report to be and catching Ghana for say at that time now state-owned entities no come access in Abuma about 800 billion Ghana cedis. Now 800 billion Ghana cedis no and I make say 800 billion Ghana say you can say return on assets 5% cra. That's about 40 billion Ghana cedis. But at the end of the day, no, the state-owned entities, whether joint venture, whether state-owned enterprises, whether other state entities, who come in dividends and as come realize sometimes cries and do $1 billion. But it tells you that there's a lot of problem. I was say the Minister of Finance going forward, no, or reform that particular SIGA or reform. Who said Pesa White is saying something that obey performance-based leader at that SIGA level. Obey say. Obi a wo adwuma no and it was say ye bo abaso e wo hono and I think that name and shame must also come there because who jisika kese say meka ebinum sika omodi okruma minia ye binum 10 years salary o doctors come investigate University of Ghana mo salary no e bi 10 years 1 month in salary no doctor di 10 years salary or University of Ghana but at the end of the day no mo cost boy enka so we must begin to name and shame say one boy we must have that capacity to sack. I think the problem kasi okuma ye suasem ya nyi akukudro wahu and ye nyi akukudro because of me party ni but we must begin to sack people right for example now no mete say abrante president say mo bi anfa soja ni na chi enko ba bi na akwa ndi soja di na chi akwa president sack no so man 2 days 3 days 2 weeks no we must sack because
no, it's not a
no
it's
see
still under investigations.
So we must begin to do that. Now other critical side of the economy because you see growth is important but we must sustain growth. Apart from sustaining growth no
in terms of development, we must change the structure of the economy. And I mean, in terms of some of the things I'm working. One is that I think that in what kind of indigenization these days, I'm not for fun personal because indigenization, no one is a person sakia bro for free. So now the right way that I'm using local content. Because local content, the IMF grab jet to say you have to have local content. I think we need to make intentionally and very careful. Say most of our economic sectors will be dominated by Ghanaians. I think very critical. The mining sector, the telecom sector, the banking sector,
especially the
extractives. Yeah, the mining sector. It was dominated by Ghanaians. Even the petroleum sector, if you come, the upstream, you bet to me, your money dominated by Ghanaians. GMPC now, but I think that yes. Oh, I mean, I had you. But
Azuma Gold Mine way, I think it's wholly Ghanaian.
Let me finish, my brother. So let's look at that. Say, yeah, the petroleum sector, no. GMP so first can could do any okay. Now, even though I believe in economic social governance, no, and lastly, and I mean, a man say, I didn't say, or can see, Alfred, I didn't say, we need to value our natural resources and capitalize them. As so mine. Because the entire WMI 3%, the entire 2%, you know, and they value the technology and value the human resource they are bringing. Into cash. But yeah, I didn't watch association. You don't value
no. But that's it. Yima, security wise, and then I'll just say yes. I said the echo no a trend no ya had you say essentially regional coordinating council chair say no motorbike till after 7 p.m. So kuma so binim the beba on crime, binim the okota crime, binim beba call me ahudu bi. You just say holistically no quickly within a minute. Then I say the for security.
Me feel say in the short term no. It is okay, but it's not sustainable. But the SANTS say tribal conflicts no adults no mine. And in the democracy, it presents a clear danger to everybody. Also, ethnicity no cry over intra. The same group of people still fighting. So, also mine we have become a country of tribal bigots.
Is the peace council still in the country?
I don't even know. I don't even hear about them. So the best friend say, or mine share how we can reform our chieftaincy institution to conform to the democratic realities of our time. Because democracy by itself no won't work for us if we don't develop our chieftaincy institutions. Me feel say there's a gap. That gap need this problems ediba na abanyi ni free chieftaincy conflicts mo and let the law deals with it as it is na court no pronounce a year now omaye then enforce it and ammunitions no so I can has ebedro ha no we have too many weapons in the hands of people. John Mahama did this in his first term, arms amnesty. Undeclared amnesty. Wow, this etu ewo hono. You can bring it back. Now waji skabi.
Yeah.
Now after that time, no, they use targeted intelligence and do soups and take this and it will start from ammunition. There must be accountability. It shouldn't be like the ECG case where almost containers are no almost more containers nina abrusumpo until they plan no what's almost
still
but the energy minister came so why I don't know prosecuting people if some are still missing why I don't know prosecuting people so NDC must start here or atu why are there by complacency.
Yeah.
Trimude now continue to listen to ordinary ghetto boys like us with our common sense street, our street common sense. Now, they should create Ghanaian billionaires too. There's something happening across the world when they are counting billionaires, the countries release and they are knocking their chest. Yes, sir, capital remaining in your country. And at their background, ASA and discussing say they should look at if they can pay wages weekly. ASA Sikano be circulate all the time and to stimulate the economy. And the workers will get good value for their salaries. Monthly normally 500,000. But if it is weekly, the minimum wage by law almost say no.
You bet me a chia.
You bet me.
I have some part a dying rent to cross say. So Musi and Chiano a san or Bepina monthly Nasi Chana Bruchri dia. I met me a cocoa jetrasako.
Every man
so that Acadiaca obey Trasako in Abaka de Obidi. And Chano me never your force so many abreba ye pa. Ye Yasumpa, me da say, and I feel Dr. Peter Kwesi Tekbe, also me da papa, na me na Jeffrey Okansiasi, na me na Bernard Insia, Benjamin Insiasi, na me na Emmanuel Kutin so ase so many abreba. Na yasi da PSC no, ebe come ye financial minister, ye ura ato forcing, say ene oje bre, ene otu bedi nkonwo kakra na se bi nso enkoma wo a wunya abre ena hwe ye. Na ebi nkoma adwumawura ene me production team nyina ebi nkoma ye ho nyankopon na dom so ma ya hoden embebetena ha brebia asaba kopena de bia na meka so man be ya efiminu mienu nyina so ense China ni ena me no ka say heat bi o China nya senketo enti no enso bi okoro no fifi sade ye de wo sekre he yi eno enso no mo mankrofo nwarem ba heat ni nti o mankrofo dwarem Ghana obebetumi ato sakola yi mu ubewu wo twam kra na home a tantantan na so fini mamu na wo mane ba Ghana be se wunsuo na se eche no ade no ko police station na so hene tutu ntoma so ko beli na then what kind of hene are you say na me di kan no ya checha na fo bi almost special investigative unit wo police CID ye do ma begu wo ohin bi she chere so be beli wo mo hene kwamiti se ese mo ye na yi kakra mun tene nka ho esa so ka ho na wo bo man no ado betuma boye nyina ya nhwe anka ne se de sika no na ebe ha adwene bidin de Agya Kwabena ye ho ya no da se ne be senhia ya kra mu nyina ma mu nyina mo